Tony Tukumbo Fernandez Show is all about promoting the true life and success stories of African and Caribbean achievers around the world. If there's a product or initiative you wish to share, feel free to give us a call. The number is 0788 280 9005. A very warm welcome to all our listeners around the world. You're welcome to the Tony Tukumbo Fernandez Show, promoting the true life and success stories of Africans making a difference around the world. So if there's a project or initiative you wish to share, then feel free to give us a call. The number is 0788 280 9005, or visit our website at www.tonyfernandez.co.uk. And if you're listening to the show for the very first time, just take a few seconds to subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're close to 1,000 at the moment. And for our constant listeners, welcome back this week as we move to East London this week to speak to a good friend who's been doing some amazing work for many years now and creating legacies for people around the country. She's the CEO of kenyaandfriendsinthepark. So Lydia, it's always lovely to see you. But
thank you very much.
For the benefit of the listeners who don't really know you in other parts of the country or other parts of Europe, can you just tell them a bit about yourself, your background, and the things you're passionate about?
Yes. So thank you very much, Tony Tukumbo. Thank you so much for this platform. It means a lot to me. Well, my name is Lydia Tett, and I'm a mother of 3 beautiful girls. I always say that because it's not easy raising girls by yourself as a single mother. So I thank God for that. And I do a lot of, I call myself an entrepreneur because I do a lot of different things. And one of them is events organizer. So I organize an event, and 2015, I came up with this big event called Kenya and Friends in the Park. And I also do, which we've seen it growing bigger and better every year, by the way. And we all know that even organizing a 1-year-old birthday party is normally really hard. So for us to manage this, I've got a very big team behind me. Like, I know there's nothing perfect, but this team is very, very good, I would say. And I'm also an insurance advisor, because in our Black community or African community, things like this are things that we don't talk about. Things like insurance. We're like, oh, God forbid, I'm not going to die. But then everybody's going to die someday. That's one. And then 2, insurance is not just about dying. There's some insurances that we have things like mortgage protection. We have things like critical illnesses. So we have a lot of different covers in place, not just life insurance. And I'm also an MC. I host events. I'm an entertainer. Like, I do so many things. I'm also, and that's where we met as well, Tony. I'm an Hollywood actress as well. So yeah, so that's me in a nutshell. And I'm also a philanthropist, and that's something that I always talk about because it encourages other people as well. So I'm also a philanthropist, and there's a school in Kibera that I'm helping. And that is, to me, that's my success story, the philanthropist part of it.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And I've witnessed Kenya in the park quite a few years, year after year. And
Yes.
I've been amazed on how few people could pull out thousands of people around the world to come to an event like this. And so when people think about you, when I think about you, you said it already, I think about entrepreneur. I think about someone who's a self-taught entrepreneur. So when did your entrepreneurial journey begin? And how did it change you as a person?
Well, first of all, is the fact that I was a single mother. And in this country, we all know that there's no support system, especially for single parents. And I found it really hard when I was juggling my children, and I used to work because I used to do workshops. I used to facilitate workshops in different schools. And my first daughter, she's an artist as well. She's into performing arts, and she was performing almost every weekend, every Friday. She had a performance in school, and I had to tell this guy that I can't come on Friday. I can't come on Saturday. I can't. And he was getting so angry. Like, this is work. Can't you just see that this is work? And I was like, well, my daughter is performing and I've never missed a performance. And I have to be there if she's performing. Because my daughter was these people that if she doesn't see her mom, she will not perform. So she had to see me. So I had to be there to encourage her. And that made me realize that, why am I working for someone? Because this guy is always shouting at me. He's never happy with me. I'm not happy at work. And yes, the money was good, but then I didn't know how to balance it. I didn't know how to balance work and home as a single mother. So I came back home and I just started reflecting. And I was thinking, can't I just start something myself that I'm free? I'm not under anybody. I don't have time. I don't have timetable. I don't have schedule that somebody else is doing it for me, but I'm doing it for myself. So that's when entrepreneurship now kicked in. And I thought, if I do this and I do this and I do this. So, and everything that I thought was actually a risk, because we know entrepreneurs are people who take risks. And everything was a risk. And I was like, what? I'm going to try this. So I tried so many things. Yes, some of them failed, but that did not stop me from trying another one. And another one and another. And before I knew it, I was doing so many things. And that was how everything was born.
I also kind of get the feeling sometimes that you're an entrepreneur who pays attention to your environment and to people as well. So in the process of doing that, what are the things that you've had to teach yourself along that journey that have now come natural to you?
Listen to understand and not to respond. Because I think a lot of us, we listen and then we react, but we don't listen to understand what the other person is saying. And all my journey, whether it's acting, whether it's insurance, whether it's doing an event, there's a lot of people who are talking and they actually need you to understand them, because that is the only way. The only way to grow is to listen, to understand, and not to react. So I think that has helped me a lot. And because of that, I've grown a lot. And that's why a lot of people say they find it easier to talk to me, even though they don't know me. Sometimes I'll be talking to strangers and they'll start saying all this stuff about themselves. And they're like, oh my God, I can't even believe I'm talking to you about all this stuff, because I've never said it to anybody else. Because they find it easy because I'm there to listen, to understand what they're saying rather than to react and to respond. So I think that is one thing that also pushed me to where I am right now. And also resistance as well. The fact that if I do something and I fail, that doesn't mean that I'm a failure. So I can never term myself as a failure. I've never done that, because I know that we try things, you fail here, you get up, dust yourself, start again. And that also have taught me to be resilient, that I have to do this and do this all the time. So through the journey, I've learned so many things.
And Kenya in the park, the legacy continues to create a big impact on people's hearts around the world.
Yes.
Can you take a few minutes to tell our listeners right now listening, especially those who don't know much about Kenya Park, what Kenya in the Park is all about?
Yes. Well, Kenya in the Park is actually Kenya and Friends in the Park. So just to take you back, and the reason why I decided it to be called Kenya and Friends, even though I know God gave me the vision, but then I had to come up with the name. So it was Kenya and Friends in the Park because Kenyans are people who have actually so much intermarried. If you look at the African continent, Africa as a continent, Kenyans are one of the most people who have intermarried. We are married with different cultures or different tribes of different countries. So because of that, now it had to be Kenya and Friends in the Park, so nobody feels left out. So that's one. And then two, there's this lady, she was only 26 years old and she committed suicide. And the reason why she committed suicide was the fact that she was lonely. So I was thinking, seriously, how can and because it's a long time ago, a lot of people don't talk about mental health. These are stuff that, especially in an African community, is abomination. We don't talk about it. So when I heard that somebody committed suicide, I was like, wow, because she's lonely. So what can I do to bring people together so that this doesn't happen again because somebody is lonely? You understand me? And the other thing as well is we do send money back home. And I know this cuts across Africa in general. We send money back home. You tell somebody, build me a house. I've seen it in Nigeria, in Gambia, in Kenya. You tell somebody, build me this. And they'll show you a beautiful house. The house is not yours. And it breaks people's hearts because we know some people are also not documented. So they work so hard and they send money home, but do this for me, do this for me. And the fact that that is not done, so that's when I came up with this concept of Kenyan Friends in the Park. So now we bring investors from home. So you're not sending money to your parents or to your friends or your loved ones to buy you anything or to do anything for you, but you have an investor. So it's you and an investor straight up. And they're legit because even them, we have to do our own due diligence. And that's why we're working with Foreign Affairs Office in Kenya and the embassy here in the UK to make sure that everybody who comes to Kenya Friends in the Park is actually legit. And that was the beginning of Kenya Friends in the Park. So it's also a networking forum and also socializing as well.
Okay. So I want you to tell our listeners right now, whether they're Kikuyu, whether they're Luya, whether they're Luyo, whether they're from other parts of Africa, why is it so important for them to get involved in Kenya in the Park?
It is so important because we all know that this country or diaspora in general is home away from home. Diaspora is a lonely place. And when we talk about UK, we see that 1 minute the weather is this and 1 minute the weather is that. And we know that every time it's winter, a lot of people suffer depression when it's winter because they're lonely and they're by themselves. So, and then we also have a lot of newbies that are coming, any newbies come in this country and they don't know anything. They don't know the way through. They don't have the support system. So you getting involved with Kenyan Friends in the Park, we're actually going to network. And I always say that your network is your net worth. And what a place to network rather than Kenyan Friends in the Park, where we have thousands and thousands of people gathered together for 2 days. So for me personally, I would say if you get involved in Kenyan Friends in the Park, you will leave that place educated, motivated, transformed, inspired, and entertained.
And for the benefit of all our listeners around the world, this year's Kenya in the Park will be taking place at the end of this month. Can you just tell our listeners why this year is going to be so different and special, and what can we expect as well?
Okay, so this year we are celebrating 9 years, and for us to see an event like this, an event that is done by Africans, we always say build Kenya by Kenya. So for us to see that an event like this that is growing bigger and better every year, there is no another community helping us. Like we always say that, there has to be this community for your event to prosper. The fact that there's not that community, I'm not going to mention any names, but there's not that community to help the event grow. And this event is growing bigger and better every year. So this year is very special. I know next year we're going to celebrate 10 years, but for us to do an event and get to 9 years, that consistency is something that is special and it has to be celebrated because consistency is not easy. We always do things within 2 years, it's gone, it's dead. Natural death with things like this. But with us, we've managed to stay and we're growing bigger and better each year. So this year is very, very special for us. And the event is this Saturday, 26th and 27th of July. And it's in Ealing Common. So Ealing Common is in Ealing Borough. So we just invite everybody to come and celebrate. And what do we expect? On Saturday, we do have two main artists coming from Kenya. So on Saturday, we have an artist that is from one tribe, but it also cuts across a lot of people. And then on Sunday, we have one artist that cuts across every tribe in Kenya. So we do that because we have one tribe, there's a lot of them, the majority here in the UK. And when we bring that artist, because a lot of people love songs from that community. So we bring one person from that community because a lot of people love songs from that community. And then we also encourage and give platforms to our young upcoming artists, local upcoming artists. or DJs or MCs. So because we believe in promoting your local artists first rather than international. So international artists, we have to expect food, proper food. We have nyama choma, we have ugali, we have a specialty from Kenya. And because we are also having friends, we also have two, I think we have 2 stalls that is from friends. So about 8 from Kenya. And expect also the investors, of course, like I said, and the people want to open bank accounts in Kenya, they can. People want to invest in Kenya, can. And also foreigners are invited and accepted to invest in Kenya. But it's good, especially as a foreigner, because if you've never been to Kenya and you want to invest in Kenya, it's good to have these investors speak to you direct, so you know exactly what you're getting yourself into. And then we have entertainment, we have, and then people with children as well. Children are not left behind. We have a lot of things for children. We have face painting, we have bouncy castles, we have rides for children. So we are entertaining everybody. So everybody feels something. So everybody's expectation is being met on the day.
I mean, the years I've come down to support you as a media partner, you've had 6,000 people, 7,000 people.
Yeah.
And that's so amazing. How many people are you going to be expecting this year, roughly?
Around 12,000 people. Yes, because now we're in a bigger park than the park we were in last year. And then a lot of people now know about it. The event has gone really, really viral now. So a lot of people know about it. So everybody's talking about it now. Because last year we were in a Kenya television network, KTN. Somebody came all the way from KTN and featured us in KTN. And because of that, now it opened doors for us in Kenya. And now the message is coming from Kenya to diaspora. People from Kenya telling people in the UK, have you heard about this event? And they're like, no, I do live in the UK. So the word has gone round, and now there's a lot of people who are actually calling us to say, oh, I'm coming. So we know that this year is going to be massive.
Now, most importantly, how can people get tickets for this event?
Well, if they go to Eventbrite and just say Kenya in the Park, or if they go to our website, which is www.kenyainthepark.com, immediately they enter on the website, they'll just see a big Eventbrite up there. They just press and it takes them straight to the Eventbrite, and they'll get the tickets there. And I know some people normally say, oh, we don't want to pay that percentage of Eventbrite is £3. That's a lot of money, especially if there's a lot, they are coming as a group. That's understandable. They can come and pay on the gate on the day as well.
Okay. And we also have your website at the bottom of the screen. So it's always so lovely to see you, Lydia. I'm so proud of you. Keep shining all the way. And God bless.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you so much, Tony, because you've always been there with us. I think since 2016, you've always been there with us. You're one of our big supporters, and we thank you and appreciate you very much.
God bless you always.
God bless you too.